Okay, pause. Okay. So we're at the bottom of page 31. So this is BEDMAS. I'm going to remind you guys to write it the way I prefer. So even if you have worked ahead and you haven't done this, I'm going to invite you to write it like that. Okay, while you do that, I'll briefly read out these points. Complete all operations within the brackets first. Sometimes brackets differentiate a negative sign connected to a number. We don't need to solve this. You might want to highlight this. So what they mean by this is that if they happen to, this is a math grammar thing. If they write something like this, -6 plus, it doesn't matter, -7. Okay. I'm going to write the word useless. In other words, they're kind of useless brackets. They're only meant to enclose the negative sign to just to make it more readable. Okay. This would be particularly important. Like if I should have maybe used subtraction, because when you see the negative number and subtract another negative number, when they use brackets that enclose a number off, they're just trying to help you read it, make it more readable, and distinguish the difference between subtraction and a negative. Okay? Real brackets that talk about BEDMAS will have an operation actually inside the brackets, whether it's add, subtract, multiply, or divide. Okay, so there are brackets that really aren't necessary. Okay? If you know how to type properly, you can use something called superscript, and you could write it like this, and that's the equivalent. You don't need the brackets. Either way, in any case, that's -13. Okay, so do brackets first. Ignore the brackets that are just sort of kind of useless. Any number with an exponent has priority next. Now, this is what I'm talking about. The reason the D and the M are together, and look, it's one text box. Okay, D doesn't really come first. That's just part of the nickname acronym. Calculate left to right, whichever comes first, and then the addition of subtraction. They also occupy the same priority. Left or right, whichever comes first. Okay. Evaluate the following, show all the work. So if you've been watching any of the videos, a lot of the teachers will do one step at a time. Now I understand when you get good, you may be able to do multiple steps simultaneously. And that's a good thing. If you're able to do it quickly, because you get into high school, the steps will be, the problems and the questions will be a little bit more complex. Now, I'm not going to be a stickler for this, but you could write the word BEDMAS beside every single question. Do we have brackets? Yeah. No exponents. No division. We have multiplication. We have addition. No subtraction. Brackets first. 3 plus 4, 7. When I rewrite the answer, the brackets disappear. The brackets have served their purpose in life. They said, do the 3 plus 4 first. Then you just bring down what you ignored. We ignored the multiplying 2. The brackets took priority. So 14 is your answer. Okay. Good? Okay, I've got thumbs up. Okay, BEDMAS. Okay, we have brackets. Do we have exponents? No, we don't. Do we have division? No, we don't. Do we have multiplication? Yes. Addition? Yes. Subtraction? Yes. Okay. Clearly, this is going to be first. There's our brackets. And now we have multiple operations trapped inside those brackets. So now you do BEDMAS again. You still always, the priority always exists. You can't just go left or right. In other words, multiplication still takes priority over the subtraction. You can't go left or right here, right? You have one operation that's considered more important than the subtraction. That's the multiplication. So what do? I rewrite everything I'm ignoring. I'm not dealing with the 5. I'm not dealing with the times. I'm not dealing with the 8. I'm not dealing with the subtraction. 3 times 2 is 6. Close that bracket off. See, the brackets don't disappear because there's still stuff left to do in the brackets. Plus 4. Okay. We still have brackets to deal with. Now the brackets disappear because now I've done the last operation. What is 8 minus 6? It's 2. Okay, sorry, I should have spaced that out better, but whatever. Okay, bring down the 4. Okay, because I wrote that poorly, I'm just going to rewrite this. This is 5 times 2 plus 4. Okay, so 5 times 2, 10, plus 4. 10 plus 4, 14. Now, to get full marks, do you need to show each and every step? Kinda, sorta. Like, if you get good at it, and you don't need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, and you get the right answer, then I'm not going to object too much about it. But you should not just write 14. Okay? Let's put it this way. You should show enough steps that you've dealt with. You should be able to demonstrate and show that you've dealt with the brackets properly. After this, like if you wrote 14 after this, I'd be fine with that. You don't, like if you just know that 5 times 2 is 10 plus 4, 14, that's fine. I would like to see up to that step. Is that fair? Okay. Flip. Okay, bed mass. Okay. Okay, useless brackets, useless brackets. These brackets have a purpose, okay? There's no priority here. Don't think that the division takes precedence. This is just enclosing brackets to show that's negative. They really didn't even need to put the brackets there on a positive integer, but whatever they did. So the point is, we do have brackets, but these are the real, quote, real brackets. In other words, there's two numbers trapped inside brackets that have an operation. Useless brackets just show signage, positivity or negativity. So we have brackets, no exponents. We do have division, we do have multiplication. There's addition, no subtraction. This is not subtraction, that's a negative 3. Okay, brackets first, 12 times negative 3, bring this down. Bring down all the stuff that you ignored. Okay, so we have division and multiplication, right? And so this is where the issue, truly, because I've seen this mistake. If you write BEDMAS this way, I do run into students that really think, but the D became before the M, and it violates the left to right rule. The left to right rule says multiplication would come first. Who cares about the letters? That's just an English word. So don't do BEDMAS like this. It truly is left to right. Twelve times negative 3, negative 36, divided by 6, negative 6. Yeah? Good? Okay. I don't see any objections. Okay, BEDMAS. Okay. This is interesting. So if you have the brackets smushed next to each other, all right, this implies multiplication. But the brackets don't, it's not like this. I'm going to do this in pencil because this is something that's not in there. It's not saying to do this first. These brackets are still just enclosing the numbers. Now, if you end up doing this first because it's part of the left to right, then good. But I'm saying these are still fake brackets. All they're doing is implying the multiplication. This bracket is enclosing, that's a positive 5, that's a negative 3. So do we have actual real brackets? And the answer is no, we really don't. We really don't. So I don't know if you want to star this question because it's not true brackets, okay? We don't have exponents. We're obviously saving those questions for a little bit later. We definitely have division. We definitely have multiplication. And look at this, there's no addition. So this is a DM question. Since they have equal priority, we are going to just treat this sucker left to right. Okay, so then we just work left to right. Okay, so 5 times a negative 3, that becomes a negative 15. Carry down what you were going to do next. Carry down what I ignored. Okay, so we still have a DM question. Now, just by coincidence, the division does actually come first. So we had negative 15, right? Carry down. Okay. Negative 15 divided by negative, that's equal to a positive 1 times 12. That's equal to positive 12. That one might have been a tricky. Does anybody have a question about that? Okay, I'm just going to pause. I see people write. I'll just let you catch up. Holy Dinah, look at question E. Okay, wow. Question E. This, if you've been good so far because you feel the questions have been relatively straightforward, not many numbers, not many operations, you might want to write this one down, like, just so you can sort of unpack it. Okay, we definitely have brackets, no exponents, division, multiplication, addition. Is there subtraction? No. I see negative integers. No, there's no subtraction. So this is a B, D, M, A question. All right, so when this happens, the brackets, this is where you can take a shortcut. It's perfectly allowed. We've got brackets here, and we've got brackets here. Now, these are useless brackets. They're just enclosing the sign, useless brackets. But here's the true operation that comes first. Now, I'm going to tell you that you might be tempted to do multiplying before the addition, but can you see in terms of the left or right spacing that really, could you actually kind of do these brackets at the same time? Because they're so far apart, they're not really affecting each other. I mean, if it makes you feel better to do this multiplying before the addition, go ahead and do it. But I can guarantee you, like, it won't make really a difference, okay? So I'm going to do both of them in the same step. All right. So 6 plus a negative 4. 6 plus a negative 4. 6 plus a negative 4. So that's a positive 2. Bring down what I didn't touch. Plus. So that addition was brought down. I'm just highlighting it because I want to make sure I save it. And then the negative 1 times the positive 1 is negative 1. Okay. So I'm looking at this. What have I got left? I've got a multiplication, I've got a division, and I've got this addition. In other words, the brackets have been dealt with. All we left are fake brackets. Okay. So if I'm looking at this, and multiplication and division have the same priority, then if you have a light pencil, you might want to do that. There's no question the addition of negative 1 has got to hang out on the sidelines, waiting until the end. Because multiplying and division come first, and the addition of negative 1 just has to sit there and hang out. Okay, so let's deal with multiplication and division in left to right order. Negative 12, bring down what I ignored. So I'm just like, I have a habit of just leaving this stuff. You can rewrite it, but I just let it hang out. Just don't forget about it. Okay, negative 12 divided by negative 3. Negative divided by negative is a positive. 12 divided by 3, so that's a positive 4. Okay, so now that I've dealt with the multiplication and division sandwich I had over here, now I can go back to the last part of BEDMAS, which is addition and subtraction. We never did have subtraction, it's only addition. Positive 4 plus a negative 1 is a positive 3. Sorry, I'm kind of robbing F of its space here. Okay, question F. So, dead mass. Okay, we do have real brackets, right? We have an operation inside, so we definitely have real brackets, no exponents. Well, yeah, division, multiplication, and addition. So, this is B, D, M, A. Hey, this is like the last question, except it's just not as lengthy. Okay, so I start with my rewrite. I'm ignoring this, that's addition. This is multiplication, but it has to hang out and wait until this is done. 4 divided by negative 2 is a negative 2. Now, I chose to write the useless brackets. If you did not write the negative brackets and you wrote times just a negative 2 without the brackets, that'd be fine. Okay? So, that took care of the brackets. That took care of the division. The division was in the brackets. So multiplication. So again, the negative 5 is just hanging out. 7 times the negative 2 is negative 14. 5 plus a negative 14 starts cold, add more cold, negative 19. Pause. Okay, it just says highlight or underline part of the equation you solve first. Okay, so bed mass. I'll just write it once up here. Definitely this. That's division, multiplication, and then this is also multiplication. This whole question is based on equal priority. Division, it's only division and or multiplication. So this is a left to right order thing. So if you want to leave yourself a note, that the decision was made not really on division versus addition or brackets or exponent. The decision was based on left to right because these are all equal priority. Again, if you want to write a multiplying sign to remind you that bracket smushed against bracket is multiplying, you may want to do that. Okay, well, I'm working down. I know it's out of order. So this is actually a good example because it shows you useless brackets, somewhat useful because it shows that it's negative. But there's your real bracket. So I'm going to just highlight this. And then I'll put so that is definitely going first. Okay, over here, this is where subtraction would take priority over multiplication. Six divided by, yeah, we've got an operation here. Now, this, you absolutely want to highlight that one or circle it, because this is the one that starts fistfights on Facebook. And usually they're in math teacher groups. And it's because the fraction line implies, we know that you should have been taught fractions as division. But I'll do a separate lesson on this, okay? But for now, I want you to understand that the groupings, so just write down the word groupings. Just make a note, groupings. Okay, I'm just going to work, I'm going to write, hang on a sec. I'm going to write the word blah. And then over this, I'm going to write yada. So here's what you're going to do. Every fraction has a set of invisible brackets. So you want to just like treat it like this. This fraction line is done last. Always. So in other words, if you've got a huge Subway mathematical sandwich of blah here, and you've got a huge Subway sandwich of yada down here, you always simplify the numerator, the blah, And you always simplify the denominator, yada, into one number, and then you do the fraction. Okay? I'll do a separate lesson on this, but just suffice to say right now, they really wrote brackets, so they make it easy. Trust me, this will get complicated, and it does actually start fights. I've seen threads on Facebook that are like over 100 replies because the teachers are arguing with each other. And then I step in and I tell them they're all wrong because it's a poorly written question. I'm the smartest one on Facebook. Okay, evaluate the following. Okay, I'm just going to write bed mass once and we'll whip through this. Yep, I'm just going to do this page and then we're done. Okay. This is definitely done first. So this becomes 12 minus 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 12 minus 3, 9. B. Brackets. 8. So I want it just in terms of those of you, what work do I have to show? At least show me the next step where you've resolved or taken care of the brackets. After this, if the numbers are simple and you do mental math, I would say this is fine. 8 times 10 is 80 minus 3 is 77. I'm fine with that. Just don't go immediately to 77. I want you to show me that you've resolved the brackets. That's called resolution. You've resolved the brackets first. Okay. We have a subtraction here. That takes priority, so I'll rewrite what I'm not doing. Times 5 divided by negative 2. Now it's left to right. 10 times a negative 5, negative 50, divided by a negative 2. Negative divided by negative is a positive, so I get 25. Okay, pause. Okay, question D. Definitely have brackets here, and we definitely have brackets here. You can actually do those at the same time. In other words, you don't have to break it down into really micro steps. Okay? So, what have I ignored? The 8. What have I ignored? The times. See that? 7 subtract 9. This is negative 2. So it's interesting to see the types of mistakes students make because I see some students who become bed mass experts. They become like little masters of bed mass, but they might make an integer calculation. The arithmetic might be wrong and they go 7 minus 9 is like 16, or maybe they say positive 2. And then does that wreck the rest of the question? That wrecks the rest of the question because of a signage problem. 4 plus a negative 3. That's a positive 1. Okay, so I'm just going to rewrite this because I didn't like the way I wrote that division sign so close. Times. Just a quick note about this. I actually prefer if you don't write the positive signs. But it's up to you. I'm just saying, just always remember no sign automatically implies positivity. But certainly I'm not going to dock a mark if you write positive 1. That'd be crazy. Okay, negative 4 times 1 equals negative 4. Okay, I'm going to push up. Okay, last two. Useless brackets. Yeah, definitely we're doing this. Actually, I'm just going to do the bracket thing. Okay, so in here we have multiplication and subtraction. Okay, those are the operations inside those brackets. 3 numbers separated by 2 operations. So, yeah, your bed mass still takes priority. You definitely would have to do 7 times 8 before even thinking about subtraction. So this becomes, and by the way, because it's multiple operations, we haven't really gotten rid of the brackets yet. It's 56 subtract a negative 10 divided by 6 plus a negative 6. Okay, so in other words, keep going with your brackets. Sometimes your letter B takes 2 steps to resolve it if it's multiple operations. So subtracting a negative is the same as adding a positive. So if you end up doing what I call the tick-tick rule, where you just want to convert this to addition, subtracting and taking away cold is the same as adding warmth. 56 plus 10, 66, divided by 6, plus a negative 6. A lot of 6's here. 66 divided by 6. Definitely the adding of the negative 6 has to hang out to the end. 66 divided by 6 is 11 plus negative 6. You're adding cold. You started out positive, so we're at positive 5. Yeah? Okay. Okay, last one. Definitely doing this. Okay, so you have multiplication and division, but they don't get priority. They're trapped outside the brackets. So I'm going to rewrite, and I'm going to rewrite. We need some resolution inside the brackets. Now you have 5 subtracted negative 5 plus 2. I'm going to employ my tick-tick rule. Taking away cold is the same as adding warmth. So I prefer addition. I find it more straightforward. So we have 5 plus 5. And by the way, it's left to right. Inside the brackets, addition and subtraction occupy the same priority. So we're going to go left to right inside the brackets. So 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 2. So that's equal to 12. Okay, just a quick rewrite. You don't have to do this. I just like to make it space it all. I just want to make it look pretty. Okay, 6 times 12 is 72. Divided by 8, right off, rip from your multiplication table. The answer is 9. Yes? Can I get some applause?